Hello and welcome to the Electrical Times podcast. I'm James Cook and today we're joined by Paul Collins, Technical Director at NICEIC. Paul, thank you so much for joining us today. I wondered if you could start by introducing yourself, giving us an overview of your background, but also an overview of the NICEIC for those who perhaps aren't entirely sure.
Yeah, no problem, James. Thanks for the invite to the podcast. I'm Paul Collins, Technical Director at the NICIC. I've been with NICIC since 2009. Before that, I used to work with Corgi in the gas scheme from the electrical aspects of it. But my background goes back to I started an apprenticeship in 1990. I left school, completed an apprenticeship in 93. And over the years, been working in electrical, gas, renewables industries, on the tools, as well as in managerial and supervisory sort of positions over the years. And then, jumped over the other side of the fence into standards and technical, 2005, and been working on that side of the fence since then. NICIC, well, we're a certification body most recognised in the electrical world around the electrical technical schemes that we operate, the approved contractor scheme. That's been in existence since 1956. And we also operate the domestic installer scheme, which is really introduced in 2005 to help contractors meet the requirements of Part P of the building regulations in England and Wales. So, as a CB, we do a number of schemes for electrical contractors, but we also do renewable schemes. So MCS, the microgeneration certification scheme, we operate in that space as well for solar PV, solar thermal heat pumps, etc. So, it's very diverse in what we do as a certification body. And wrapped around that, we have a training service. So we offer training qualifications to individuals, whether it's electrical, plumbing, heating, gas, as well as a range of publications to support, BS 7671 guidance, and also all the forms that's needed to fill in as part of your job. So quite a comprehensive package around certification that we offer.
It's quite a varied role then, sort of when it comes to impacting the work of contractors. So obviously the NICEIC, I nearly said you then, but the NICEIC is celebrating its 70th anniversary this year. From a technical perspective, how have standards and regulations evolved over the 7 decades?
Yeah, firstly, I'm glad you said NIC is celebrating 70 years and not myself. I'm not quite there yet. I might look it, but I've got a few more years to go.
No, what a shame.
Looking back, a lot's changed. 1956 when the NICIC was set up, there was issues around poor quality or air quality, all sorts of issues around the environment and sort of the work coming out the post-war boom as well. So there was a lot of change then that brought in the need for assessing, looking at the competence of contractors. So starting then, up to the point of where we are now, but the fundamentals haven't changed. Ohm's law, etc. That fundamentals haven't changed. But what we have seen is I suppose over time an increase in the requirements for safety. Looking back many years ago, there was rewirable fuses, so a very simple device. Now we have protective devices that are controlled by microprocessors. So you can see the whole history of installations changing and becoming more complex in certain ways. But I suppose the fundamentals haven't changed in standards terms from your basic requirements through to where we are now. But I think this, we're on a really interesting journey as an industry, as a sector around indoor air quality, safety. You look at what the government's doing of talking about warm homes, the warm homes plan about bringing more people out of fuel poverty, and electricians and electrical contractors have a huge part in that sort of sector to raise standards and to raise the quality of installations across the country. So there's a lot going on, and there's a lot gone on over the years.
I imagine things are going to be changing a lot more over the next 7 decades as well. I mean, obviously you mentioned kind of air quality and warmer homes, and I mean just in kind of regards to a lot going on in the world at the moment, kind of maybe where our power may be coming from in the future as well.
I think that's a really interesting topic at the moment. Homeowners are able to generate their own power with our solar PV systems. we can store it in batteries and use it at a time when we need to. So I think there's a bit of an energy revolution going on in respect of being able to generate your own and use your own. Tie into the fact we've got electric vehicles now that in some cases are able to run your house, power your home, for example, vehicle to grid and vehicle to load. I think that's a fascinating you know technology that we're seeing becoming more prevalent and will become more prevalent. If you look at energy prices, they've gone up. I think we're just seeing at the moment with the current issues around the Middle East, the energy prices are going to go up again. So things like that are going to get homeowners and businesses looking at, okay, what can I do to reduce my energy bills? And that's where contractors come in, electrical contractors. I can install the solar PV for you. I can install a battery for you, so you can generate and use your own. So yeah, we're in a really interesting place as an energy revolution as well.
So, as the organisation passes the 7-decade milestone, was about to do so, obviously the industry is seeing electrical demand rise for the first time in many years. Yet there seems to be a bit of a skills shortage. How do you see that we address this?
Yeah, there is a shift in respect of the amount of work out there available and the amount of people doing the work. I think there's a little bit of well, there is a big challenge in respect to the amount of people doing work. We've got an aging workforce. If you look at the demographic across various industries, it is an aging workforce. It's not just the electrical sector that's having this challenge. So we need to encourage more people into apprenticeships. And I don't think there's a pipeline problem getting people in. I think the issue at the moment is the amount of businesses that are available to take on apprentices. So I think there's a shift that we need to see there to enable the people coming into the industry to get an apprenticeship, to get through the formal pathways that are recognised within the industry, to get them out there. So there is a skill shortage, and it's difficult to find electricians, but it's not impossible.
So, I mean, is there anything else as well that the kind of, I guess, the industry should do to respond to that kind of growing need for for electricity, for power?
Yeah, there's a lot of work going on at the moment within the sector, within the electrical sector, around competence and looking at what qualifications people hold to do the work that they're undertaking. So, as part of the electrotechnical assessment specification, EAS for short, we love a good acronym in the industry. EAS is looking at the businesses undertaking solar PV installations, EV charge points, energy storage systems, and looking at, okay, the business needs to have certain competence to be able to do this, and the people doing the work needs to hold the relevant qualifications. So, if you're a business that is transitioning into renewables, low carbon and technology installations, you need to be thinking about, okay, what qualifications do my people need for the work, or what qualifications do I need to supervise that work? So it's thinking about, getting to a point of people being competent and having core competence as an electrician, and then building on that over time with CPD type qualifications for EV and PV. So yeah, get yourself into that space, get yourself qualified for that work. And that's where schemes come in to help with that. Schemes like NICEIC to support businesses with that transition. So yeah, there's a lot going on and a lot we're doing to help and support that.
Yeah. And what other trends are you seeing at the moment at the NICEIC, or even just kind of, I guess, more broadly across the industry?
I think technology is leading the way here. If you look at installations today in a consumer unit or distribution board, like I said earlier, we've got devices that are microprocessor controlled that you can connect to via Bluetooth, Wi-Fi, and control. So you see technology being used more to monitor energy, to look at what's happening in installation, to turn devices on and off from your phone or from a voice activated assistant. There's a lot more interaction with installations now, and I can only see that increasing in time as we start to get to things like half hourly billing with our electric tariffs. So equipment can be switched off while the energy prices are high, and then back on when the energy prices have come back down. So I can see technology shifting, and that's something that we're looking at. We've got changes to the wiring regulations coming up that bring some of this stuff into a bit more focus as well.
What sort of changes are you personally most excited about at the moment?
Uh, I suppose the bits that really get me interested and excited is around being able to monitor your installation, look at what the installation is doing, control it, around temperature, around humidity, looking all the bits that is bringing the house alive. If you look 20 years back, 30 years back, installations were very passive. They weren't doing anything. You couldn't really interact with them. You go into a room and turn the light on manually. Now you can go into a room, there's sensors, there's all sorts of technology that links all this together. Feed that into your solar PV systems, your cars, your energy storage systems. You've got a house that can be self-sufficient, that is providing clean, fresh air, that's using energy in a very efficient way, lowest possible cost, etc. And I think that is, you've seen it for a number of years with building management systems in commercial, industrial locations, but we're starting to see it more in a domestic sector, that a home is living in respect of its technology, and that will benefit the occupants, the homeowners, etc. So yeah, for me, that's the really exciting bit. How can we use technology to improve, our installations and the way we live?
Do you think it's going to create more opportunities as well for people to work within the industry? I know there's a lot of talk about AI at the moment as well, and I guess kind of how many careers could be under threat. But do you think it could be almost the other way around for electrical engineering and electrical contracting?
Yeah, good question. AI definitely plays a big part of our future, and can help us, thinking about how am I designing an electrical installation where we can use some AI to assist with the design work on there. There's been design packages around for years, but I think that we'll see evolution of that. Inspection and testing software, you're seeing AI being used for that, which is really helpful and time saving for the electrician. Um, is there going to be robots that will replace electricians? I'm not so sure. Have seen, robots that are building houses, printing houses. I can see that becoming a thing. You can set that going 24/7, and it will do what it needs to do. But I'm not sure that will replace an electrician in that concept. But the thing is, the installations and what's installed in the installations will change. So I can see an electrician becoming more of a system integrator, looking at more at the digital aspects of a job, not just the physical wiring and connections. Yes, that would be part of it and still be there. But I think it's about, okay, how do I set this house up? How do I set this building up, this office up, with its management system to make sure it's working efficiently? And then I suppose thinking through from a my career perspective, I started at 16, 52 now. I wouldn't really want to be working on the tools of crawling through loft spaces, underfloors. So you could think of, okay, your career progression from installation, setting up your customer base, then moving into a service stroke management offering that you can maintain the equipment that's installed, because we know about phones need software updates, cars need software updates. So you're starting to install smart equipment in your homes that will need updates. And manufacturers are bringing out products every year that we want to be buying the latest and greatest products. So there's retrofit opportunities. So I can see a movement from installation into service and maintenance as somebody's career and business progresses. So I think there's a nice opportunity for that in the future.
That's excellent career advice. For anybody kind of watching or listening who wants to, I guess, find out more, where can they find out more about the NICEIC? And also, I mean, kind of is kind of keeping up to date with the organisation, kind of does that help? I guess as you've just done, kind of map out potential career opportunities or opportunities to learn.
Yeah, so to find out more about NICIC, we have a website, niceic.com. On there, there's bits around the schemes that we operate, the services, products and services that we offer, and we have a series of newsletters that we can sign up to. We're very active on social media, LinkedIn, for example. We have a regular update via there. So yeah, come to the website, have a look. If you need to, give us a call. We're happy to chat to people about what we do and how we can help. But yeah, we have a number of products and services that can take an electrician on a journey through into renewables and beyond, for training as well as schemes. So yeah, there's lots that we can do to help and support the industry. But for new people, somebody that's thinking about, okay, I want to become an electrician, there is some great resources out there. the Electrotechnical Skills Partnership, TESP, TESP for short. Fantastic website, talks about, if you're a school leaver, what your journey is, or if you're a career changer, what the journey is to become a qualified electrician. So there's some brilliant resources out there to help people on that journey.
Fantastic. Well, thank you very much, Paul. I really appreciate you joining us today. It's been fascinating to hear what you've had to say, and I'd like to think we'll speak again soon.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks a lot. Thanks, James.